Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. How many of us do the complete exact opposite? Follow the crowd in doing wrong whilst not realizing it even. Generally, you're being fed a specific rhetoric and you're required to believe it. Most people don't even analyze it. We constantly see snippets of stuff. This person said that, this newspaper said that, and what's even worse, with the new social media, like TikTok for example, some people started taking news as a given from these sources, especially the younger ages. There has been a research not very long ago about teenagers and where they get their news sources from, and the vast majority of them said TikTok and Instagram. Now imagine, and when I say TikTok and Instagram, it's not from a verified source on these platforms, but rather a general source. Let me give you an example about myself. I know people who have seen completely fake and made up videos on TikTok, and they assume them to be completely true. Things to do with wars in the Middle East, the war in Ukraine, other conflicts around the world, made up videos, sometimes they're video games, and they believe that it is absolutely true. And I was baffled. Now obviously I have background in graphic design, so you can kind of easily tell these things. But seriously, some people, and not only the younger generation, I'm talking 60 plus, okay? 60 plus watching videos on TikTok, fake made up videos, so very similar to video games, believing that they're absolutely true. It's absolutely shocking. Now, going back to the verse, following the crowd. Nowadays, the risky part is we're not just talking about following the crowd. We're talking about following the crowd with no basis whatsoever, without scrutinizing the crowd, what the crowd has to say, what they believe in, what did they establish their ideas on, or the things that they want me to believe in. Now, I gave social media as an example. If you go to traditional media, it gets worse, because when you look at traditional media, we obviously are fed a specific rhetoric. The people who write the script of that rhetoric, and we have a very good example in what we had during COVID days, you're just constantly fed a specific rhetoric that you're supposed to believe, and you must follow and comply. If you don't follow and comply, you risk being completely banned, even on social media. And we've seen so many examples. I mean, videos that we were watching on a regular basis from massive channels, people who bring a variety of diverse people with different backgrounds, all sorts of knowledge, coming to bring their valid opinion, and some of them even from the medical profession. You were not hearing the other side when it came to COVID. You were required to believe a specific rhetoric. You were fed to believe it and obey. That's it. Lockdown, you need to be locked down. Giving up your freedom, give up your freedom, fine. You need to take a vaccine? Yeah, of course I'll take a vaccine. You need to take it 4 times a year? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Anyone who was even suggesting anything otherwise was like seen as, whoa. And you'll have a comment next to their channel or profile. Oh, COVID, this is what the government says. This is what the NHS says. This is what the health and whatever says. So, when it was suitable, you were being fed that rhetoric. You must believe it. If you don't believe it, then be very careful. Cancellation. Ban. Ting. Gone. That's it. And I believe that was an eye-opener for many people. Now, during my last years at school, I specialized in media and news production. And from back then, we were taught on how spins work, how the media lies, how you create false news, how you stage things to go ahead and do stuff, how you have, for example, false flags, fake news, all of these things. So there was pretty much of an awareness from a very long time ago. However, when you talk about the general population, it's much more difficult to show them the things that you actually believe in, or to even open some people's eyes about the things that they see on a daily basis and that they absorb. And I found it very insightful for myself, especially as a teenager, looking at these things, because if you're not from a very kind of politically aware background or politically aware family, or no one close to you has been very much into specific subjects that were controversial or that had very much of a hype around them, then you can easily get lost in the things that you're constantly fed. And it's important, it's highly important, it's crucial in fact, to sit back, take a step, catch your breath, analyze these things before you follow them. And going back to the phrase, do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. We're not just talking about false information, wrong information, misinformation. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert the justice by siding with the crowd. The other dimension, the second part of this verse, is most likely, it feels like it's a message for people in power. How many times do we see people in power going ahead with things that are completely unjust, unfair, can oppress people, can even kill people just to please the group that they have around them? We see it on a daily basis, all across the world. And I thought to myself when I read this verse, oh my God, if the Western governments only took that verse and implemented it, imagine